What if the worst financial disaster in modern history wasn't caused by a single day of panic, but by a decade of dangerous delusions that convinced millions the good times would never end, delusions so powerful they blinded even the smartest experts? Picture crowds in frenzy as fortunes vanished in hours, families ruined overnight, and a crash that sparked a global nightmare lasting years. The 1929 Wall Street collapse wasn't just bad luck, it was a warning built on cheap borrowing, wild speculation, and blind optimism that's eerily familiar today. Stay with me to the end. The most chilling parallels to our current markets are revealed last, including the overlooked signs that could signal the next big drop. These hidden truths might just save you from repeating history's biggest mistake. The event etched in memory as an abrupt downfall in October 1929 wasn't merely a fleeting turmoil or retribution for excessive risk-taking. It marked the culmination of a prolonged period of unchecked exuberance, an expansion fueled by borrowing, amplification, and unwavering belief in perpetual advancement. Upon rupture, societies learned that assurance proves exceedingly delicate. Once dissipated, no oversight entity or leader can rapidly restore it. Dispelling surrounding frenzy and misconceptions reveals the downturn as a gradual buildup rather than isolated disorder, accumulated excesses approaching an anticipated fracture. Dismissing it as outdated anecdote overlooks its relevance. Identical elements permeate contemporary structures, accessible funds, enthusiastic pursuits, elevated holdings, and prevailing narratives asserting continual ascent. The profound insight from that era isn't the rapidity of losses but the ease of self-persuasion that festivities endure indefinitely. The foundation emerged during a vibrant period of advancement, consumption, and innovation following a major global conflict. The nation arose as the foremost prosperous, with sectors flourishing in inventions like vehicles, broadcast devices, and household appliances revolutionizing routines. Urban centers expanded, earnings increased, and vast numbers embraced visions of boundless plenty. Yet beneath the allure, vulnerabilities existed. Agricultural producers struggled with obligations amid falling yields, prosperity concentrated among select magnates, leaving many households exposed to downturns. Institutions, loosely overseen and adventurous, extended resources liberally to participants seeking involvement. Equity exchanges transformed into the era's central arena. From early decade lows, a key indicator multiplied over 6 times in under a decade. Regular citizens, beyond professional circles, engaged extensively, persuaded of participation in a novel prosperity phase. Facilities proliferated nationwide, media amplified enthusiasm, pledging rewards for those utilizing borrowed means to acquire. Such amplification defined the expansion. Minimal personal commitment enabled control of substantially larger positions. Rising trends magnified returns, yet declines triggered demands for additional funds or compelled disposals. The arrangement formed an inherent instability. The greater the elevation, the more susceptible to cascading liquidations. Prominent figures reinforced perceptions. Early that peak year, a leading institutional head dismissed concerns. Executive assurances evoked widespread comfort. A renowned scholar proclaimed valuations at enduring elevations shortly before reversal. These weren't naive, they represented era's sharpest minds. Yet acuity offers no shield against shared elation. When frameworks incentivize positivity and deter prudence, authorities join promotion. Indicators appeared. Oversight began modest elevations in borrowing costs late prior year to temper fervor, proving insufficient amid saturated liquidity. By late summer peak, subtle withdrawals by astute holders hinted impending shifts. Rumors circulated. Late month, pressures intensified. An initial heavy trading session saw attempts by consortia to stabilize through purchases, briefly effective. Yet days later, volumes surged unprecedentedly, systems lagged, participants devastated rapidly. The notion of perpetual advancement shattered. However, the exchange turmoil ignited rather than originated the broader calamity. Underlying exposures and subsequent choices amplified it. Institutions extended imprudently absent buffers, defaults precipitated widespread failures, thousands ceasing operations early decade, erasing countless reserves instantly. Liquidity constriction halted enterprise access, output declined, joblessness peaked extraordinarily. International exchanges contracted as barriers rose, volumes plummeting dramatically within years. Avoidability stemmed from choices, lax oversight, unbridled pursuits, growth convictions, delayed interventions. Human-crafted, not inevitable. The ensuing prolonged slump demonstrated prosperity's precariousness. Equities shed nearly 90% from highs, indicator plummeting drastically. Generations witnessed reserves, provisions, commitments diminish progressively. Leveraged entrants faced insurmountable obligations amid vanished supports. Even prudent ones suffered institutional collapses absent protections. Responses exacerbated, protective import duties prompted retaliations, accelerating contraction. Adherence to rigid standards constrained stimulative options, earlier abandoners recovered sooner, prolonged commitment extended suffering. Mid-decade, societal shifts emerged, despair enabling radicals abroad, domestic innovations like infrastructure initiatives, institutional reforms, deposit assurances. These rebuilt faith in failed mechanisms. The insight endures, absent reliability and safeguards for common participants, capital mechanisms self-destruct. Relevance persists as human tendencies recur across expansions, late 20th century technology fervor valuing unprofitable entities immensely, early 21st century housing amplifications nearly toppling globals. Variations, plurals, transports, innovations, digital tokens, yet sequence identical, lenient funds, enthusiastic heights, ruptures, blame pursuits. Familiar refrains echo, uniqueness claims, enduring elevations, solid bases, denial chance by stakeholders unable to acknowledge erosion. Complacency, not alarm, proves most hazardous. Contemporary landscapes exhibit inflated holdings via prolonged low costs and interventions, vast obligations across sectors, novel arenas like viral equities and digital assets drawing masses assured of safety and ascent. Yet precedents counsel caution, sentiment fractures expose vulnerabilities, pyramid bases suffer initially. Endurance distinguishes outcomes. Diversified, substantive holders navigated or strengthened, overextended, pursuit-driven, unguarded trusters perished. Cycles repeat this divide. Positioning depends on awareness. Directly, hypothetical tomorrow disruptions, liquidity shortages, halved valuations, restricted access reveal preparedness. Leveraged vulnerability or substantive resilience? Comprehension that holdings embody enduring utility, not transient commitments. Precedents rhyme relentlessly: avarice, apprehension, rejection, downfall. Instruments advance, mindset persists. The era's dispassionate examination mirrors present, querying wisdom versus refined deceptions. Core directive: revere not exchanges, equate not pursuits with substance, safeguard via insight, restraint, recognition that frameworks prioritize continuity over individual rescue amid inevitabilities. If this reshaped outlook, subscribe. Chronicles illuminate safeguards.